Monaco, officially the Principality of Monaco, is a sovereign city-state and micro-state on the French Riviera a few kilometers west of the Italian region of Liguria, in Western Europe, on the Mediterranean Sea. It is bordered by France to the north, east and west. The Principality is home to 38,682 residents, of whom 9,486 are Monegasque nationals. It is widely recognized as one of the most expensive and wealthiest places in the world. The official language of the Principality is French. In addition, Monegasque, a dialect of Ligurian, English and Italian are spoken and understood by many residents. With an area of 2.02 square kilometers, 0.78 square miles, it is the second smallest sovereign state in the world, after Vatican City. Its 19,009 inhabitants per square kilometer, 49,230 per square mile, make it the most densely populated sovereign state in the world. Monaco has a land border of 5.47 kilometers, 3.40 miles, and the world's shortest coastline of approximately 3.83 kilometers, 2.38 miles. It has a width that varies between 1,700 and 349 meters, 5,577 and 1,145 feet. The highest point in the state is a narrow pathway named Chemin des Voies on the slopes of Mont Aigle, in the Les Voies ward, which is 161 meters, 528 feet, above sea level. The Principality is about 15 kilometers, 9.3 miles, from the border with Italy. Since 2013, it consists of 9 administrative wards, the largest of which is Monte Carlo, Splugs, 0.44 square kilometers, 0.17 square miles, and the most populous of which is Larvotto, Basse-Moulins, 5,443 residents as of 2008. Through ongoing land reclamation, started in 1861 and accelerating in the 1960s, Monaco's small landmass has expanded by 20%. The Principality is governed under a form of constitutional monarchy, with Prince Albert II as head of state, who wields immense political power despite his constitutional status. The Prime Minister, who is the head of government, can be either a Monegasque or a French citizen. The monarch consults with the government of France before an appointment. Key members of the judiciary in Monaco are detached French magistrates. The House of Grimaldi has ruled Monaco, with brief interruptions, since 1297. The state's sovereignty was officially recognized by the Franco-Monegasque Treaty of 1861, with Monaco becoming a full United Nations voting member in 1993. Despite Monaco's independence and separate foreign policy, its defense is the responsibility of France, besides maintenance of 2 small military units. Monaco's economic development was spurred in the late 19th century with the opening of the state's first casino, the Monte Carlo Casino, and a railway connection to Paris. Since then, Monaco's mild climate, scenery, and gambling facilities have contributed to the Principality's status as a tourist destination and recreation center for the rich. In more recent years, Monaco has become a major banking center and has sought to diversify its economy into the services sector and small, high-value-added, non-polluting industries. Monaco is famous as a tax haven. The Principality has no personal income tax, except for French citizens, and low business taxes. Over 30% of the residents are millionaires, with real estate prices reaching $100,000, $116,374 per square meter in 2018. Monaco is considered a global hub of money laundering, and in February 2023 was placed under review by the Intergovernmental Financial Action Task Force watchdog, with the threat of being placed on its grey list for its failures in financial supervision and reform to inhibit global criminality and terrorism financing. Monaco is not formally a part of the European Union (EU), but it participates in certain EU policies, including customs and border controls. Through its relationship with France, Monaco uses the euro as its sole currency. Before, it used the Monegasque franc, which was pegged, and exchangeable with, the French franc until 1 January 2002. Monaco joined the Council of Europe in 2004 and is a member of the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie, OIF. It is also the host of the annual street circuit motor race, the Monaco Grand Prix, one of the original Grand Prix of Formula One. The local motorsports association gives name to the Monte Carlo Rally, hosted in January in the French Alps. The Principality has a club football team, as Monaco, which competes in the French Ligue 1 and have become French champions on multiple occasions, and a basketball team, which plays in the EuroLeague. A center of research into marine conservation, Monaco is home to one of the world's first protected marine habitats, an oceanographic museum, and the International Atomic Energy Agency Environment Labs, which is the only marine laboratory in the United Nations structure.
History.
Monaco's name comes from the nearby 6th century BC Phocian Greek colony. Referred to by the Ligurians as Monoikos, from the Greek, single house, from monos, alone, single, plus, oikos, house. According to an ancient myth, Hercules passed through the Monaco area and turned away the previous gods. As a result, a temple was constructed there. Because this house of Hercules was the only temple in the area, the city was called Monoikos. It ended up in the hands of the Holy Roman Empire, which gave it to the Genoese. An ousted branch of a Genoese family, the Grimaldi, contested it for 100 years before actually gaining control. Though the Republic of Genoa would last until the 19th century, they allowed the Grimaldi family to keep Monaco, and, likewise, both France and Spain left it alone for hundreds of years. France did not annex it until the French Revolution, but after the defeat of Napoleon it was put under the care of the Kingdom of Sardinia. In the 19th century, when Sardinia became a part of Italy, the region came under French influence, but France allowed it to remain independent. Like France, Monaco was overrun by the Axis powers during the Second World War and for a short time was administered by Italy, then the Third Reich, before finally being liberated. Although the occupation lasted for just a short time, it resulted in the deportation of the Jewish population and execution of several resistance members from Monaco. Since then Monaco has been independent. It has taken some steps towards integration with the European Union.
Arrival of the Grimaldi family.
Following a grant of land from Emperor Henry VI in 1191, Monaco was refounded in 1215 as a colony of Genoa. Monaco was first ruled by a member of the House of Grimaldi in 1297, when Francesco Grimaldi, known as Milizia, translated from Italian either as the malicious one or the cunning one, and his men captured the fortress protecting the Rock of Monaco while dressed as Franciscan friars. A Monaco in Italian, although this is a coincidence as the area was already known by this name. Francesco was evicted a few years later by the Genoese forces, and the struggle over the Rock continued for another century. The Grimaldi family was Genoese and the struggle was something of a family feud. The Genoese engaged in other conflicts, and in the late 1300s Genoa lost Monaco after fighting the Crown of Aragon over Corsica. Aragon eventually became part of a united Spain, and other parts of the land grant came to be integrated piecemeal into other states. Between 1346 and 1355, Monaco annexed the towns of Mentone and Roquebrune, increasing its territory by almost 10 times.
14,001,800.
In 1419, the Grimaldi family purchased Monaco from the Crown of Aragon and became the official and undisputed rulers of the Rock of Monaco. In 1612, Honor II began to style himself Prince of Monaco. In the 1630s, he sought French protection against the Spanish forces and, in 1642, was received at the court of Louis XIII as a Duc et Père Tranger. The princes of Monaco thus became vassals of the French kings while at the same time remaining sovereign princes. Though successive princes and their families spent most of their lives in Paris, and intermarried with French and Italian nobilities, the House of Grimaldi is Italian. The principality continued its existence as a protectorate of France until the French Revolution.
19th century.
In 1793, revolutionary forces captured Monaco and until 1814 it was occupied by the French. In this period much of Europe had been overrun by the French armies under the command of Napoleon Bonaparte. The principality was re-established in 1814 under the Grimaldis, only to be designated a protectorate of the Kingdom of Sardinia by the Congress of Vienna in 1815. Monaco remained in this position until 1860 when, by the Treaty of Turin, the Sardinian forces pulled out of the principality. The surrounding county of Nice, as well as Savoy, was ceded to France. Monaco became a French protectorate once again. Before this time there was unrest in Mentone and Roquebrune, where the townspeople had become weary of heavy taxation by the Grimaldi family. They declared their independence, hoping for annexation by Sardinia. France protested. The unrest continued until Charles III of Monaco gave up his claim to the two mainland towns, some 95% of the principality at the time, that had been ruled by the Grimaldi family for over 500 years. These were ceded to France in return for 4,100,000 francs. The transfer and Monaco's sovereignty were recognized by the Franco-Monégasque Treaty of 1861. In 1869, the principality stopped collecting income tax from its residents, an indulgence the Grimaldi family could afford to entertain thanks solely to the extraordinary success of the casino. This made Monaco not only a playground for the rich, but a favored place for them to live.
20th century.
Until the Monégasque Revolution of 1910 forced the adoption of the 1911 Constitution of Monaco, the princes of Monaco were absolute rulers. The new constitution slightly reduced the autocratic rule of the Grimaldi family, and Prince Albert I soon suspended it during the First World War. In July 1918, a new Franco-Monégasque treaty was signed, providing for limited French protection over Monaco. The treaty, endorsed in 1919 by the Treaty of Versailles, established that Monégasque international policy would be aligned with French political, military and economic interests. It also resolved the Monaco succession crisis. In 1943, the Italian army invaded and occupied Monaco, forming a fascist administration. In September 1943, after Mussolini's fall from power, the German Wehrmacht occupied Italy and Monaco, and the Nazi deportation of the Jewish population began. Ren Blum, the prominent French Jew who founded the Ballet de l'Opéra in Monte Carlo, was arrested in his Paris home and held in the Drancy deportation camp outside the French capital before being transported to Auschwitz, where he was later murdered. Blum's colleague Raoul Gunsberg, the director of the Opéra de Monte Carlo, helped by the French resistance, escaped arrest and fled to Switzerland. In August 1944, the Germans executed Ren Bergini, Joseph Henry Lajoux and Esther Poggio, who were resistance leaders. Rainier III succeeded to the throne on the death of his grandfather, Prince Louis II, in 1949, and then ruled until 2005. On 19 April 1956, Prince Rainier married the American actress Grace Kelly, an event that was widely televised and covered in the popular press, focusing the world's attention on the tiny principality. A 1962 amendment to the Constitution abolished capital punishment, provided for women's suffrage and established a Supreme Court of Monaco to guarantee fundamental liberties. In 1963, a crisis developed when Charles de Gaulle blockaded Monaco, angered by its status as a tax haven for wealthy French citizens. In 1993, the Principality of Monaco became a member of the United Nations, with full voting rights.
21st century.
In 2002, a new treaty between France and Monaco specified that, should there be no heirs to carry on the Grimaldi dynasty, the Principality would still remain an independent nation rather than revert to France. Monaco's military defense is still the responsibility of France. On 31 March 2005, Rainier III, who was too ill to exercise his duties, relinquished him to his only son and heir, Albert. He died 6 days later, after a reign of 56 years, with his son succeeding him as Albert II, Sovereign Prince of Monaco. Following a period of official mourning, Prince Albert II formally assumed the princely crown on 12 July 2005, in a celebration that began with a solemn mass at St. Nicholas Cathedral, where his father had been buried 3 months earlier. His accession to the Monégasque throne was a two-step event with a further ceremony, drawing heads of state for an elaborate reception, held on 18 November 2005, at the historic Prince's Palace in Monaco Ville. On 27 August 2015, Albert II apologized for Monaco's role during World War II in facilitating the deportation of a total of 90 Jews and resistance fighters, of whom only 9 survived. We committed the irreparable in handing over to the neighboring authorities women, men and a child who had taken refuge with us to escape the persecutions they had suffered in France, Albert said at a ceremony in which a monument to the victims was unveiled at the Monaco cemetery. In distress, they came specifically to take shelter with us, thinking they would find neutrality. In 2015, Monaco unanimously approved a modest land reclamation expansion intended primarily to accommodate desperately needed housing and a small green park area. Monaco had previously considered an expansion in 2008, but had called it off. The plan is for about 6 hectares, 15 acres, of apartment buildings, parks, shops and offices to a land value of about €1 billion. The development will be adjacent to the Larvotto district and also will include a small marina. There were 4 main proposals, and the final mix of use will be finalized as the development progresses. The name for the new district is Anse du Portier. On 29 February 2020, Monaco announced its first case of COVID-19, a man who was admitted to the Princess Grace Hospital Centre then transferred to Nice University Hospital in France. On 3 September 2020, the first Monégasque satellite, OSM-1 Cicero, was launched into space from French Guiana, France aboard a Vega rocket. The satellite was built in Monaco by Orbital Solutions Monaco.
Government. Politics.
Monaco has been governed under a constitutional monarchy since 1911, with the sovereign Prince of Monaco as head of state. The executive branch consists of a prime minister as the head of government, who presides over the other 5 members of the Council of Government. Until 2002, the prime minister was a French citizen appointed by the prince from among candidates proposed by the government of France. Since a constitutional amendment in 2002, the prime minister can be French or Monégasque. On 1 September 2020, Prince Albert II appointed a French citizen, Pierre Dartout, to the office. Under the 1962 Constitution of Monaco, the prince shares his veto power with the unicameral National Council. The 24 members of the National Council are elected for 5-year terms. 16 are chosen through a majority electoral system and 8 by proportional representation. All legislation requires the approval of the National Council. Following the 2023 Monégasque general election, all 24 seats are held by the pro-monarchist Monégasque National Union. The Principality's city affairs are directed by the Communal Council, which consists of 14 elected members and is presided over by a mayor. Georges Marsan has been mayor since 2003. Unlike the National Council, communal councillors are elected for 4-year terms and are strictly non-partisan. Oppositions inside the council frequently form. Members of the judiciary of Monaco are appointed by the sovereign prince. Key positions within the judiciary are held by French magistrates, proposed by the government of France. Monaco currently has 3 examining magistrates.
Security.
The wider defense of the nation is provided by France. Monaco has no navy or air force, but on both a per capita and per area basis, Monaco has one of the largest police forces, 515 police officers for about 38,000 people, and police presences in the world. Its police includes a special unit which operates patrol and surveillance boats jointly with the military. Police forces in Monaco are commanded by a French officer. There is also a small military force. This consists of a bodyguard unit for the prince and his palace in Monaco-Ville called the Compagnie des Carabiniers du Prince, Prince's Company of Carabineers, together with the militarized, armed fire and civil defense corps, sapeurs-pompiers. It forms Monaco's total forces. The Compagnie des Carabiniers du Prince was created by Prince Honor IV in 1817 for the protection of the principality and the princely family. The company numbers exactly 116 officers and men. While the non-commissioned officers and soldiers are local, the officers have generally served in the French army. In addition to their guard duties as described, the Carabineers patrol the principality's beaches and coastal waters.
Geography.
Monaco is a sovereign city-state, with 5 quarters and 10 wards, located on the French Riviera in Western Europe. It is bordered by France's Alpes-Maritimes department on 3 sides, with one side bordering the Mediterranean Sea. Its center is about 16 kilometers, 9.9 miles, from Italy and only 13 kilometers, 8.1 miles, northeast of Nice. It has an area of 2.1 square kilometers, 0.81 square miles, or 208 hectares, 510 acres, and a population of 38,400, making Monaco the second smallest and the most densely populated country in the world. The country has a land border of only 5.47 kilometers, 3.40 miles, a coastline of 3.83 kilometers, 2.38 miles, a maritime claim that extends 22.2 kilometers, 13.8 miles, and a width that varies between 1,700 and 349 meters, 5,577 and 1,145 feet. The highest point in the country is at the access to the Patio Palace residential building on the Chemin des Voies, Ward Les Voies, from the D6007, Moyenne Corniche Street, at 164.4 meters, 539 feet, above sea level. The lowest point in the country is the Mediterranean Sea. St. Jean Brook is the longest flowing body of water, around 0.19 kilometers, 190 meters, 0.12 miles, 620 feet, in length, and Fontvieille is the largest lake, approximately 0.5 hectares, 5,000 square meters, 0 acres, 54,000 square feet, in area. Monaco's most populated quartier is Monte Carlo, and the most populated ward is Larvotto, Bas Moulins. After a recent expansion of Port Hercules, Monaco's total area grew to 2.08 square kilometers, 0.80 square miles, or 208 hectares, 510 acres. Subsequently, new plans have been approved to extend the district of Fontvieille by 0.08 square kilometers, 0.031 square miles, or 8 hectares, 20 acres, with land reclaimed from the Mediterranean Sea. Land reclamation projects include extending the district of Fontvieille. There are 2 ports in Monaco, Port Hercules and Port Fontvieille. There is a neighboring French port called Cap d'Ail that is near Monaco. Monaco's only natural resource is fishing. With almost the entire country being an urban area, Monaco lacks any sort of commercial agriculture industry.
Administrative divisions.
Monaco is the second smallest country by area in the world. Only Vatican City is smaller. Monaco is the most densely populated country in the world. The state consists of only one municipality, commune, the Municipality of Monaco. There is no geographical distinction between the state and city of Monaco, although responsibilities of the government, state level, and of the municipality, city level, are different. According to the Constitution of 1911, the principality was subdivided into 3 municipalities. Monaco-Ville, the old city and seat of government of the principality on a rocky promontory extending into the Mediterranean, known as the Rock of Monaco, or simply, the Rock, Monte Carlo, the principal residential and resort area with the Monte Carlo Casino in the east and northeast. La Condamine, the southwestern section including the port area, Port Hercules. The municipalities were merged into one in 1917, and they were accorded the status of wards or quartiers thereafter. Fontvieille was added as a 4th ward, a newly constructed area claimed from the sea in the 1970s. Moneghetti became the 5th ward, created from part of La Condamine. Larvotto became the 6th ward, created from part of Monte Carlo. La Rousse, Saint Roman, including La Tienau, became the 7th ward, also created from part of Monte Carlo. Subsequently, 3 additional wards were created, but then again were dissolved in 2013. San Michel, created from part of Monte Carlo. La Cole, created from part of La Condamine. Les Voies, also created from part of La Condamine. Most of San Michel became part of Monte Carlo again in 2013. La Cole and Les Voies were merged the same year as part of a redistricting process, where they became part of the larger Jardin Exotique ward. An additional ward was planned by New Land Reclamation to be settled beginning in 2014, but Prince Albert II announced in his 2009 New Year speech that he had ended plans due to the economic climate at the time. Prince Albert II in mid-2010 firmly restarted the program. In 2015, a new development called Anse du Portier was announced.
Traditional quarters and modern geographic areas.
The 4 traditional quartiers of Monaco are Monaco-Ville, La Condamine, Monte Carlo and Fontvieille. The suburb of Moneghetti, the high-level part of La Condamine, is generally seen today as an effective 5th quartier of Monaco, having a very distinct atmosphere and topography when compared with low-level La Condamine.
Wards.
For town planning purposes, a sovereign ordinance in 1966 divided the principality into reserved sectors, whose current character must be preserved, and wards. The number and boundaries of these sectors and wards have been modified several times. The latest division dates from 2013 and created 2 reserved sectors and 7 wards. A new 6-hectare district, Le Portier, is currently being built on the sea. Note: for statistical purposes, the wards of Monaco are further subdivided into 178 city blocks, lots, which are comparable to the census blocks in the United States. Another possibility was Fontvier 2 development to commence in 2013.
Architecture.
Monaco exhibits a wide range of architecture, but the Principality's signature style, particularly in Monte Carlo, is that of the Belle Époque. It finds its most florid expression in the 18,789 casino and the Salle Garnier created by Charles Garnier and Jules Dutroux. Decorative elements include turrets, balconies, pinnacles, multicolored ceramics, and caryatids. These were blended to create a picturesque fantasy of pleasure and luxury, and an alluring expression of how Monaco sought and still seeks to portray itself. This capriccio of French, Italian, and Spanish elements were incorporated into hacienda villas and apartments. Following major development in the 1970s, Prince Rainier III banned high-rise development in the Principality. His successor, Prince Albert II, overturned this sovereign order. In recent years, the accelerating demolition of Monaco's architectural heritage, including its single-family villas, has created dismay. The Principality has no heritage protection legislation.
Climate.
Monaco has a hot summer Mediterranean climate, Cape and Climate Classification (CSA), with strong maritime influences, with some resemblances to the humid subtropical climate (CFA). As a result, it has balmy warm, dry summers and mild, rainy winters. The winters are very mild considering the city's latitude, being as mild as locations located much further south in the Mediterranean basin. Cool and rainy interludes can interrupt the dry summer season, the average length of which is also shorter. Summer afternoons are infrequently hot. Indeed, temperatures greater than 30 C or 86 F are rare, as the atmosphere is temperate because of constant sea breezes. On the other hand, the nights are very mild, due to the fairly high temperature of the sea in summer. Generally, temperatures do not drop below 20 C, 68 F, in this season. In the winter, frosts and snowfalls are extremely rare and generally occur once or twice every 10 years. On the 27th of February 2018, both Monaco and Monte Carlo experienced snowfall.
Economy.
Monaco has the world's highest GDP nominal per capita at $185,742 United States dollars, GDP PPP per capita at $132,571 and GNI per capita at $183,150. It also has an unemployment rate of 2%, with over 48,000 workers who commute from France and Italy each day. According to the CIA World Factbook, Monaco has the world's lowest poverty rate and the highest number of millionaires and billionaires per capita in the world. For the fourth year in a row, Monaco in 2012 had the world's most expensive real estate market, at $58,300 per square meter. Although the average price went down in 2020, to an average price of $53,378 per square meter, Monaco remains one of the most expensive places in the world to buy property. The world's most expensive apartment is located in Monaco, a penthouse at the Odeon Tower valued at $335 million according to Forbes in 2016. One of Monaco's main sources of income is tourism. Each year many foreigners are attracted to its casinos and pleasant climate. It has also become a major banking center, holding over $100 billion worth of funds. Banks in Monaco specialize in providing private banking, asset and wealth management services. Monaco is